Welcome to the She Means Business Show, where our mission is to activate your confidence, amplify your voice, and help you align to your power. I am so honored and privileged to share with you today's powerhouse, the amazing Jill Schulman. Not only is she a U.S. Marines veteran, she is the author of the best-selling book, The Bravery Effect. I cannot wait to get my hands on that, by the way. But more than that, I was fortunate enough to spend a few days with her in Kauai at an amazing empowerment retreat with Amberly Lago, Brooke Hemingway, Patrice Washington. So there was so much empowerment going on. But all that being said, welcome to the show, Jill.
Thank you so much for having me. And I love that you mentioned that about where we met. And it's so funny because that just ties into like what I believe in, what's even in my book is like who you surround yourself with makes such an impact on your life and your impact. So I just think it was so great to be there to meet you and so many other amazing women because we're all trying to make this big impact in the world. And by going to these events like in masterminds, it really does help amplify. So I'm so glad I got to meet you there because you're amazing. And we both have a daughter named Brooke that are the same age, which we were just meant to be connected.
Yes, for sure. Well, I want to definitely put you in the spotlight and not leave any details out of all the amazing things you're doing. So I am quickly going to read your bio and then we will jump into it. But Jill Schulman is a U.S. Marine Corps veteran, leadership development expert, and author of the best-selling book, The Bravery Effect. With a master's in applied positive psychology from the University of Pennsylvania, Jill blends science and grit to show people how bravery can be built like a muscle. She has spent over 2 decades in corporate leadership and now works with Fortune 500 companies, leaders, and teams to push past comfort zones, take bold action, and elevate impact. Featured in Forbes, Fast Company, She Means Business, and Psychology Today, Jill is on a mission to help people live braver, more meaningful lives. I forgot to mention she is a woman to watch for this month's issue in September. So,
Oh, thank you. That's hot off the press. I got to add that to my
I know,
bio.
hot off the press for sure. So with She Means Business, I talk about 10 power moves to activate confidence, amplify your voice, and align to your power. And one of those is having no excuses and really dominating fear and being aware of resistance. So your story, I know, incorporates so much of that along with so much more. But start from the beginning. Tell us how you got started with bravery specifically and what got you to where you are now.
Yeah. Kind of a quick story. I started my career as a United States Marine. So someone might think of like, well, she's always been brave. But one thing that relates to my research on bravery is built over time. So when I arrived in Southern California to start my journey to become a United States Marine, I did not look like the picture of a Marine. I actually showed up in a really cute outfit that I thought would make the best first impression. It was hot pink with white polka dots, matching heels, and perfectly manicured nails, to make the ensemble. And so just keep that in mind and then think of anything you know about the Marine Corps or like, as people enter and you kind of get the picture. And as you just said, no excuses. Like I tell you, I had so much fear when I first showed up because no one looked like me. I just realized I was a little bit maybe outside of my depth. I had someone tell me the very first day, you'll never make it as a Marine, laughing, like almost making a joke of me. And so, in those circumstances, we have a choice. We always have a choice. And the choice is, do we step forward and toward what we want? For me, it was my free education is at the University of San Diego. So me earning a degree and earning the title of Marine, which was the scary step forward. Or do I take a step back? I could have gone back to Minnesota where I grew up around all the people that loved me and made me comfortable, right? And I decided to take that step forward. And it was hard. And it got worse the second day. I mean, my first 2 years, every day I had to choose to keep showing up. But here's what happened as a result of that. I did emerge very strong, very confident. My bravery was built. It took me a couple of years before I was ready to be commissioned as an officer and actually lead Marines. But, I'm so proud of my story, probably because I had so much room to grow. right? So some people came in and they're already confident and really strong, like physically. So for them, it was kind of easy. So their journey isn't really that meaningful. So that's the promise of bravery that I love is for anyone that's listening that think of like, I'm just scared. I'm just not a brave person, right? Like you are the person that I want to reach because any person can learn how to overcome your fears. And when you do, it's even more rewarding, right? If I could become a United States Marine and become brave, anyone can. And that little story, just to end the story here, this is, when I started my journey at 18 and I was 22 and I was commissioned. I was kind of a piece of work when I started, and I didn't look like that Marine. But by the time I was a senior, was commissioned, I was the top Marine that outperformed any male Marine that said that I couldn't do it before. And I was the one that was selected to command the entire unit over all the males. So like, and I don't say that to impress anyone. I say it to impress upon anyone that, you know, anyone can build these skills. And I just want anyone to know it's possible. And my background in psychology, and it wasn't until I studied psychology at the University of Pennsylvania that I realized like there is actually scientific evidence on how people can build bravery. Because so many people think, wait, I'm just not brave, so I just can't do this. Bravery is for first responders and United States Marines running into battle. It's not, it's for all of us. So that's really why I became so passionate about the subject because bravery is for all of us and it's such an important skill we all learn. And because Ashley, we've had conversations about our young daughters. I have two daughters, she has two daughters as well. And I think so many times our younger generation, they are just scared and have so many fears. They let the fear like paralyze them and it prevents them from being the happiest. So I'm on a mission to share the evidence in psychology about building bravery to help anyone live their best life, which is the mission of your show. So that's
So,
that's how I stumbled on it.
well, you said so many things, and I just kept wanting to jump in, but like, no, I want to hear every word you say. But one, first of all, just being a mom and how important that is to, I mean, I'm thinking of your daughters and how they get to watch you be this brave woman, and what an example you're leading for them. But what I'm really curious in is just this, how these two amazing different sectors of life kind of combine with your psychology degree and then like the physicality of bravery through the
Mhm.
Marines and how you like really encompass bravery from both ends. So I know mindset is part of it. I know, of course, being physical for the Marines was part of it, but tell me more
Mhm.
about this and how that marries together.
Yeah, so that's a great one because a lot of times I say bravery is like building a muscle. But there are different domains of bravery. In fact, when I was writing my book, I had some advanced readers, including one of the leading researchers in bravery, Dr. Cynthia Puri. And I used some examples of like physical bravery, but physical bravery and bravery in like the social area, like when we're afraid of failure, we're afraid of vulnerability. Think of it as like we have to be brave in different parts of our life. And there's not necessarily a correlation. I want to study it. I want to study it. I want people to do physical brave things and see if it makes a bigger impact over here. But I can't, like, I will never say anything unless there's evidence behind it. So I have a hypothesis. But so what we know right now is, I love doing physically brave things because that's just my personality. I love it. But there's areas of my life that I still have fears that hold me back. Like someone might be really brave challenging ideas or speaking up, but they might be really not brave to do something physical, right? So think of it as there's different domains of bravery. And so that's why I think for most people, there's areas where they can become braver. Like for me to be vulnerable, this is something I've really kind of dug into the last couple of years. And it's scary to really open up, right? But when you do, oh my gosh, like that bravery, like the bravery to admit you don't have all the answers, to admit mistakes, to ask for help, right? That's an area that I've had to learn, right? And on my website too, like I have this bravery assessment to help people understand like what areas are you really strong in terms of your bravery, but then what areas can you develop? Because any of those fears that hold you back can block you. So there's really not any evidence to say like, there's in fact there's a lot of very macho men that are like they are built, they're like, I am so confident, I'm not scared of anything. And then I work with them and then we realize I'm like, well, actually you're afraid to admit you don't have all the answers. So everyone's got those areas. And there's not necessarily that correlation. And the work that I do too is I'm not on a mission to help people be physically brave because we don't need to become physically brave to survive anymore. But in order for people to thrive in life, I'm really helping people overcome really the fears associated with them going after what they really want in life, which is usually social fears. So that's where I focus. I think that's
So
what's needed most.
amazing. I'm so intrigued. So, being social fear. So, I'm just thinking about my own personal experience and fears. And one, I think for a lot of women is maybe leaving toxic relationships and having to figure
Mm,
out how to put things back together, which, and then also kind of this fear of visibility and even of the fear of showing up on social media. So,
mm,
what I'm just curious, those are just kind of my personal things I
mm.
had to learn to overcome, but falling under that social aspect, what are the most common fears, maybe specifically to women that you've come across?
Usually it's fear of failure, fear of rejection.
Mm.
Those are the biggest ones. So, like, for someone to go on social media, like, what if I do it wrong? What if I look silly? What if I look like an idiot on social media? So you're feeling failure, or you're afraid that people aren't going to respond, so I might be rejected, right? So, like, that is the biggest thing that holds people back. Like, oh, I really want to do this, but I'm scared. It's actually our desire to perform well and our perfectionism that holds us back. Because I've always been a high performer. So if I try something new, it's got to go perfectly. And because I want it to go so well, I'm not willing to try because I don't know what I'm doing. So we've got to get comfortable when we're going into uncharted territory, into waters we've never, dipped our toes in before. Like it's not going to be perfect, and that's how we learn. So you've got to just do it scared. And that's, if you look at the definition of bravery, Ashley, it's not waiting until the fear goes away, not waiting until you're confident. And that's a mistake a lot of people make. Like, oh, let me just wait until I'm confident. Like, I'll do social media, get my message out there. It's just not the right time now. That is actually another way of saying I'm scared and I'm not willing to take the risk. So we've just got to get used to like doing things scared. And the other thing that you made me think of is what I remind my clients. I work mainly in corporate America, like Fortune 500 companies. I go in and I speak and I take this to like large organizations. Um, but I always have them focus on what is your why? What is your why? Because many times when people are scared of leaving a toxic relationship, you said, or going on social media to make their voices heard or amplified, it's because they're talking about their ego. It's about them. And I go like, I want you to not think about you. What is the message? What is the value you're trying to bring to the world? And I want you to keep that front and center as your North Star in service to the impact you're trying to make and your message. What are the actions you need to take that require bravery in service of that, right? In service of, you know, you doing a good job at work to impact, your customers, or for you to get your message out there, right? So, and I think that really that inspires people to be brave. Or like, you're right, like my fear is holding me back from impacting other women out there that really need this message. That's what I needed. When you and I went to Hawaii together, like I'm all over LinkedIn. So for anyone who follows me on LinkedIn, like I kind of got that wired. But then a lot of you in that room were like, Jill, like you got to up your Instagram game. And I even said back then, I'm like, oh, I'm the corporate speaker. I don't need to be over there. But then I got challenged by some people of going like, there's so many people in the world that need to learn how to be brave. Is this the right thing that's in line with your values and what you want to do? And that got me over it. I'm like, you're right. I'm uncomfortable on Instagram and Facebook. Like, I just learned the difference between a story and a post. But I'm like, I can't allow my fear to hold me back because I'm not living my mission of what I'm supposed to do. So, those are, a couple of hints like, don't wait until you're confident
Right.
because you're going to wait too long. What do you need to do in service of your mission, your why? And then you need to overcome those fears. You said no excuses, right? No excuses. Just do it. Just do it. And then once you do it, then you're like, that wasn't so bad. Like this was good. This didn't go so well, so I'm going to change a little bit. But the way you actually build the bravery and the confidence is not all in mindset. There's some mindset there, obviously. Mindset's really important, but you just take action. It's the action steps that build the confidence, not you don't wait until you have confidence to take action. This is based on the literature, Albert Bandura's research on self-efficacy. He says, when you take a step and another little step and another little step, those are the things that build confidence, right? So we've got to take those steps, even when we're scared.
Amazing. I
Mm.
think just going back to the social media thing, when I was always the behind the scenes, I was happy writing the articles and putting everyone else's story out there until I got challenged to start showing up on social media. And I was terrified. My hands were shaking, but I was like, I did a bloopers video. So all the different takes I took to try to get it right.
Right. Oh, I
But I
love it.
also
Oh,
said,
I love it.
it also said, are you afraid to show up on social media? And I was blown away by how many people actually engaged with that and said,
Mhm.
yes, me too. Yes, me too. I'm terrified. And I'm talking about it was some of the women that had been on the covers. So, you're looking at women with significant accolades still have that fear. So I just love what you're saying. And it did get easier. The more I did it, the easier it got, the more I was building that muscle. But I just wanted to share that because bravery and fear affects even the women that you think
Yeah.
are fearless. So
Yeah. You made me think of one other thing I want to add here too is another way to build your bravery is surrounding yourself with a brave tribe, right? It's us going to the mastermind. So find people who have accomplished what you are seeking to accomplish, that you look up to, that you're actually a little bit intimidated by, a little bit scared of, because you're like, they're so successful. Are they gonna want to talk to me? So it requires some bravery just to introduce yourself to those people and say, I admire your work. I love your path. I'm seeking to do something similar. Can I ask a couple of questions? So when you surround yourself with the people who have walked the path that you want to, you're going to discover when they share their stories, they are experiencing the exact same fears you are, which makes you feel normal. Right? When I was writing my book, like I had all kinds of self-limiting beliefs and didn't know if I could do it, but it was my mentors that it was Ken Blanchard who wrote the foreword in my book, and I was sharing with him how I couldn't get the words out. Like I don't know if I meant to do this. Maybe I should just keep like speaking and leading workshops. I don't know if there's an author in me. And he said, the same thing happened to me. And I was shocked. I'm like, you're Ken Blanchard. You have 48 New York Times bestselling books. You have a hard time writing? He's like, yeah, I did too. So it's like when you surround yourself with those people, you realize, like, as you're saying, the other people that have been on the cover of your magazine, like they've had fears of doing it too. And when you hear that, you're like, this is normal. It's normal to have these fears. And I just need to keep taking steps forward. And fear isn't an excuse to not do it. In fact, fear should be a signal, a signpost that that thing that you're scared of is important. You need to do it anyway.
I love that. Fear is a signal. It's not saying go the other way or run. It's saying move forward, move through this. So
Mm.
I love that.
Yeah.
So tell us more about the book. It is out now.
Yeah,
It's
it just came out a few weeks ago. Yeah, so the book it's called The Bravery Effect. It's written, first of all, I purposely made it something that anyone can read and learn the important lessons, including my teenage daughters. So I decided to write this as a parable or a story. So it's a fictional, it's like a fable. It's in today's like current day setting, but it's written as a story. So it's easy to read. And then this is my way to make sure everyone reads the whole book because when you read a story, you've got to get to the end. Where a lot of other books that are business books or like science books, you don't read the whole thing. So my motivation was what can be something really entertaining, enjoyable to read, but you get all the lessons and that my daughters would actually read or like anyone would read. So I wrote it that way. Um, and the reason it's called the Bravery Effect um, is it really highlights like why should people want to be brave? I always use the example like where you are now is like where you are, which is A. Like you're at point A right now, and your dream is to get to this area that's let's call it B.
Mhm.
And there is that gap there. So it takes bravery to leave the toxic relationship, to put yourself out there on social media, to raise your hand in a meeting to share an idea, or put yourself in for, a promotion or something like that. So that's the B. So when you use all the skills that I teach in the book, it will help you achieve the goal to get to B, no doubt. It'll help you be more successful. You'll have more of an impact. But that's not the best part about bravery. The best part about bravery, it's not about even accomplishing the goal. It's about what it does
Mm,
to the person on the journey. Like you can just, as I've worked with people, like all of a sudden you see their shoulders go back.
yeah.
They're looking into the mirror with pride, going like, I did that. Wow. And it's that self-confidence, that self-efficacy that just creates more momentum going forward. So, I mean, really at the core, my master's degree is in positive psychology, which is the scientific study of elevating happiness and well-being. So the skills of bravery, it leads to a happier, more fulfilled life. And that is the promise of bravery. So, yes, you'll accomplish more goals and be more successful, but the true gift of bravery is self-love.
Amazing. My struggle is self-worth and confidence. So that's why I'm hyper focused on that. And it is when you take these small steps, bravery is, directly linked to your self-worth.
Yeah.
So I like to say, because, I'm still working on my visibility, but visibility is self-worth in action. And I feel like that is, of course, comes back to bravery as well. And then you mentioned like these steps. So it, what are some skill sets or you can tell people to practice
Mhm.
at home,
Yeah.
to kind of prepare for that next step? Or what does that
Yeah.
look like?
Yeah. So there's three different strategies that are all evidence-based from psychology. We start with cognitive psychology. So I'm a little bit of an academic nerd. So for your
I
audience, I'm
love
sorry.
it.
Like I'm tough girl Marine, but I'm also academic nerd.
You're
So
amazing.
basically the three steps. One, the first really step, or I have like four different tools you can use in this, but the first step is about comes from cognitive psychology, which is on mindset, right? And Ashley, you talk about mindset in all of your work. So we've got to change the way we think first. You've got a lot of great tools that you use. So like I share some of the same things, but like a really simple one that I start with, and it's also in the book. Everyone says it's one of their key takeaways is just using the power of a three-letter word, and it shifts everything. And it's the power of yet. It's based on Carol Dweck's work from Stanford. She wrote a book called Growth Mindset. So some people believe that they just have fixed traits and they're born with them and there's nothing they can do about it. And there's something called growth mindset, believing that you can accomplish things. It'll take hard work and effort, but it's possible if you use the word yet. So if someone says, I could never get on a stage, like I'm just a horrible speaker, I could never be a great speaker, right? And then you take that statement and go, all right, all right. So let's say, Ashley, you said, I'm just not a great speaker in front of thousands of people. I would say, all right, say that again, Ashley, and use the word yet.
Amazing.
And then you would say, I'm not great at speaking in front of thousands of people yet. And it just opens the door of possibility and saying like it's a choice.
Mm.
You have to decide if that's something you want, but so this leads to like optimism, like it's possible, like I can, and then that mindset leads to action, because if we just stay in mindset all day long and we don't take any action, then we're not going to get anywhere. So that's one of the four cognitive psychology like interventions or techniques that I use. And there's a lot of them, and you tell different ones too. We talk about self-talk and the stories that we tell. So any of the things that change our belief systems is the first step, right? So that's one. And then we move into behavioral psychology. And the one tip I can give your audience is usually the natural tendency for humans is to do the comfortable things first and make the uncomfortable things happen later. So when we wake up in the morning, we tend to like look at our to-do list and we're like, what are the easy things I can just do on my list? And then usually by the end of the day, you've got the hard thing that you want to do. And then a lot of times, if you're like me, it's the end of the day and I go, tomorrow. I'll do
Mm.
that tomorrow. because it's uncomfortable and it's hard. And I just didn't get, I'll do it tomorrow. And then it's tomorrow and it's tomorrow and a tomorrow. So that is, again, that's fear controlling us. It's fear saying, like, okay, let's do the easy stuff. Let's push, kick this down the road and do it tomorrow. So we put off sometimes the most important things that are going to allow us to achieve our goals. So one of the techniques, and this is based on Roy Baumeister's research, famous psychologist, where he basically teaches that we should do the hardest things first thing in the morning because we have the highest level of cognitive resources or like willpower ability to do it. So it's actually training your brain to be like, plan your day. And because I'm the United States Marine, when I'm on the big stages doing keynotes, I call it attack the day.
Mm.
Like, because what do Marines do? Do you think we just get up in the morning and we're like, oh, what are we going to do today? Let's get some coffee. Let's do the easy stuff. No, like we do the hardest thing first. So it's a mindset that we have, but if you believe it's possible, then you've got to plan your day and then use the first couple of hours of the day to do the scariest thing first. And you've got to learn to go like, okay, in the moment, like it's uncomfortable. Let's say someone going on social media and having exposure for their message, right? So if you do it first thing in the morning, you get it done, you're going to have the best chance of getting it done. And then once it's complete, then you feel the sense of accomplishment. Like, I just did that. And you get a dopamine hit. So you have a short term like discomfort, but what you get afterward is pride and accomplishment. And it gives you more momentum for the rest of your day. So just a little technique there, but if you train yourself to do the hard things first, to attack your day, and guess what? Planning your day requires prepping the night before. So what do you need to do the night before? You need to get good sleep, take care of yourself, like get up and maybe set your intentions, whatever morning routine, so you can do that most important work. And then just that reminder too, like you're not supposed to feel motivated or confident or ready. Like that's another thing. People like motivation is overrated. If we waited until we had this jolt, this lightning bolt that comes down and just motivates us to do the uncomfortable thing, it's not going to come. So we just got to get used to doing the hard thing because it matters. And then the joy we feel afterward is greater. And I have all these like little psychological like tricks, but the other question I sometimes ask someone is, what does your 5 p.m. self want you to do first thing in the morning? That's going to say that this is the best day ever. So it's another little trick as you're setting your intentions for the day. If you're doing your planning the night before or the morning of, what does my 5 p.m. person want me to do today, right now, in order for me to say, like, I had the best day ever?
Mm.
Usually it's not saying like, oh, just scroll through my phone and then take a break and then take a nap, right? It's not doing the comfortable things. Yeah. So, and then the last thing that I've kind of alluded to earlier. So basically my research is on like, let's work on our mindset, our belief systems, the stories we tell ourselves. Let's learn to have no excuses, using your term, and taking action every day, because taking those steps bring you the most amount of joy. That is self-love, is keeping promises to yourself. And then the final thing is being very purposeful. This comes from social psychology.
Okay.
And who you surround yourself with.
Mm.
If someone wants to run a 5K because they want to get healthy, and it's a really important goal for them, for their health, longevity, and the only people they hang out with are people who sit on their butts all day, binge watching Netflix all day, that's all they do, it's going to make it really hard for you to achieve the goal. It's like you running uphill with wind coming in your face with a parachute on your back. So you need to surround yourself with people that are going to support your goal pursuit and not allow you to tap out, right? Like the Ken Blanchard, when I was ready to tap out writing the book, like, I don't know if I can do this. He's like, oh, no, no, no. You really want to do this. You can do this, right? So bravery starts within, but it's amplified by who we walk beside. So it's really important that we seek out. I love the word seek out or curate the people that you surround yourself, which is why I'm so glad I met you, Ashley. Like, I want to make sure I'm hanging out with people and I'm interacting on a regular basis with people that inspire me to do my best work. Like, you're going to challenge me to make myself more visible. That's kind of what you do. Like, so just keep in mind that circle. If you surround yourself with a brave tribe, that will make you braver?
So many things around the tribe. I had actually just posted something about community. I was like, what has community really taught me? And it was that community, it drives your expansion,
Mm,
and it also, you know, I guess grounds your resilience because you're around people who've been there, done that, made the mistakes, helps you get back up. And then ultimately that's what's going to expand you to keep going and grow further. So I had just had some reflection time on that. So I
that's
love,
so important. I love that you added that because you're right. When we're trying to climb the mountain, whatever that goal is, there's going to be ups and downs. On the ups, you don't really need the community. It's on the downs. When
yeah.
you're stumbling, like they're going to help pick you up. They're going to help you recover. So you're right. That brave tribe helps with resilience. And if you try to, I think a lot of people think of like, oh, the brave thing to do is like, I can just do it all by myself. That is not being brave. That is actually you being too scared to admit you need help. So you can go further and faster and have a bigger impact in the world if you lean on your brave tribe. You're going to be more resilient. You're going to get there faster. So we have to be brave enough to let go of that ego, saying I can do it all by myself. Like it's going to slow you down, and you're not going to have the same impact than if you lean on others. So I love that you added that resilience. That's awesome.
Well, I also just want to tell a personal story. So when I started my personal development journey, it was Jim Rohn says, you know, you become the power, you become your five. So choose wisely. And
Yep.
so there was an exercise I did, and it was like write down your five people you spend the most time with and give them a score. Have you done this, 1 to 5?
I haven't done it, but I was just listening to a podcast and I think they describe this. So please keep going because I'm going to take notes and I'm going to do it.
This
Go through it.
this was like a big moment for me because it was saying slow down enough to take inventory of your life. Like you've got to be
Mhm.
aware of what choices you're making so you know what to change. But so I did this exercise. You give them a score 1 to 5. 1 meaning they're negative, they're bringing you down, they're not supportive, and 5 being that coach, that person who believes in you, supportive, got your back. My
Right.
score was a 1. So 5 people, score was a 1. And I was okay, Ashley, time to be accountable for some choices and let's change some things. And so a year later, you know, it was 4.5, maybe it was 5, but then that's subjective too, because in the next year, it's like you keep growing to what
You
that
keep
5 looked
going.
like for you.
Mhm.
And anyway, it was just a life-changing moment for me.
I think that, yeah. And I think of our time is our most valuable resource. So who do we spend time with? So, and I want to give a little bit of grace to these people who are ones. They're not trying to be jerks.
Oh, right.
Us- Usually they have their own fears. And because fears control their life, they're
Hmm.
trying to help you by going like, Ashley, are you crazy? Like, don't try and do that. You don't want to put yourself out there. So it's their fear. You don't want their fears to hold you back. So, it's just instead of just saying like, do you fire all the friends? Like I look at it this way. I just try to intentionally create more time for the people who can help me grow and develop that are in alignment with my values and my goals. How can I help them? How can they help me? And then I spend less time with, let's say I've had a friend for the last 20 years, right? Like I'll still see him maybe at a neighborhood party and at a social party, and there'll be a group, and it'll be great to kind of catch up, but I'm not going to spend time with him every week or every other week. So just reduce that amount of time and then create more time for others, unless there's a toxic relationship, and that's different. And then we need to get out of that toxic relationship, right? Yeah.
Well, this has been so informative. I could talk to you for hours, but I have a question of your process while you were writing The Bravery Effect.
Mhm.
Was there kind of a up level that you had in writing it that you realized like you were kind of going to that next level of bravery for yourself?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I think sometimes it was actually John Gordon who said this to me to a group of us, and it clicked, and I'm like, that's exactly what I experienced. He said, sometimes we let good get in the way of great. So, like, some people have really dire circumstances, so the only place they can go is get better. So they have a motivation to escape something that's dire. But for me, I had a good thing going. But I've always had this dream to go back to school, to do research, to write a book, to speak on the biggest stages. I've always wanted this. Like when I was 27, my very first job out of the Marine Corps, I was at a national sales meeting because I was a pharmaceutical sales rep. And my very first meeting, there was like thousands of us in the audience. And there's this amazing speaker that was so moving, inspired me. And that one 45-minute keynote was so powerful. Every day I live it. It was so great. And when I was 27, I wanted to do exactly what he did. I'm now 51. I finally published the book. What caused me to not level up for so long? It's because I had a very good job for a long time. And when you have a good job, I think the story I told myself is like, well, the way that you're responsible for a family is you just keep doing the responsible thing. And then I did actually start my own business, but it was it was still pretty safe. And so then I had my own leadership development business. And again, it was everything was good. I had tons of clients. I was in demand. I was making great money. So I had a good thing going. And for me, the leveling up is I always had a desire to do my own thing, to have my own research to tell my own stories. And I was scared to let go of the good because like that's risky to let go of the good. So I had to take this risk, and this was very scary. I had to start taking less of the work that was paying really well for me to pursue my master's at an Ivy League school. I was scared to go there. I haven't studied in forever. And can I keep up? And it was hard. And that was like 30 hours a week and running my. So I had to take the risk to do that and then try writing the book. And all of those things really required me to be brave. So I feel like you sometimes, just like your message, the reason why your message is so powerful is because you lived it, right? You lived it, right? And for me, I feel the same way. I feel like I have never been more, I think, happy in an aligned way because now I'm truly aligned to what I want to be doing and the impact that I want to have. And I finally stopped letting a good thing. Like this is people that think like I have my life is fine. I should just be thankful for what I have. But I want people to know like if you have dreams to have a bigger, don't allow everything's fine and okay or everything's good. But if it's not what you want, like sometimes that holds you back. So yeah, for me, this book writing process and everything I'm doing now, I am living what I wrote in the book. I'm having to be brave to level up.
Mm.
But it has been like, and I've never been busier, but it's kind of like, Ashley, I feel like I'm in the middle of a hurricane. Like there is so many things like flying by me. There's so many exciting, wonderful things going on. But I'm just in the center with such calm. Like I sleep better than I've ever slept before. So it's been such a great step and it's been scary, but it's all going well. And I'm so proud of myself to live the model. I mean, I better be practicing what I preach if I'm the expert in bravery.
Well,
Yeah.
oh my goodness, you are definitely the epitome of bravery, and you have just shared so many important things for so many women that are needing to, what is that first step? What does it look like? How do I get there? What do I do? And you've done it in such a relatable way. So I know as we go through these power moves, I say, and she means business, you eventually get to the glow up. And so you are definitely shining bright and stepping into the
Oh.
spotlight with your purpose. So thank you so much just for being you and being brave and teaching others how to do the same.
Well, thank you for allowing me to share this research with your audience, and I hope if someone learns something, they pass along the message. I feel like all of the women listening need to hear it. If you have kids that allow fear to hold them back from being happy, like we need to teach our kids. I mean, that's one thing you and I, Ash, are both so passionate about is we want to teach these lessons to our kids. We have the highest levels of anxiety and depression among young kids, and it's because they just keep running away from what they fear. We need to learn, they need to learn, we need to teach them to overcome the fears to live their best life. So thank you for having me.
Oh my goodness. So where can we get the book? Amazon? Where else?
Amazon, Target, Barnes and Noble, like anywhere books are sold. So yes, you can. It's called the Bravery Effect, and and so people can buy it. And then on my website, something they can get for right now free If people go to my website, which is just my first and last name.com, so jillschulman.com, last name is Schulman. So just go to my website and they can sign up to take a free bravery assessment that takes 3 minutes to take. And then they get a free bravery blueprint. So it's like a 5-page document. And like when I was talking about cognitive psychology, behavioral psychology, social psychology. So it basically gives them steps they can start taking like right now. So if anyone out there has this little dream that they want something different than they have right now, but if you keep waiting, like someday, that's actually fear holding you back. So just please take the free resources. Like I would love if people buy my book, but what I'm really passionate about is I just want you to have the information. So I'm just giving it for free. So please just go and at least download that so you can start using these skills today.
And I will include that link on the captions and the podcast and YouTube and everything. That sounds amazing. I'm going to do it right when this podcast is over. But
Awesome.
I want to do some fun speed round questions.
Okay. Yes,
To know
bring
you
it.
on a more casual level. So
Mhm.
first, what's your zodiac sign?
I'm a Taurus.
Taurus. I'm a Gemini.
Oh.
Okay, so I'm also in the music industry, so I'm always curious, like your favorite song and or genre.
Uh, I'll just tell you my favorite artist. Maybe that I am a Posty fan. Post Malone is
Oh,
my
goodness.
absolute favorite artist. Like I go see him in concert, like I'm in the pit right next to him. So anything by Post Malone, I love.
Agree. I'm with you on that one, sister. Something that's always in your purse.
Laneige. Laneige is a specific type of a lip mask, and it always looks fabulous and doesn't dry out my lips. So like it's always like my phone and my Laneige at a minimum.
You know,
I
99% of the answers have something to do with the lips. So I find
lip.
that really interesting. Okay, favorite personal development tool such as podcast or book, other than the
Oh,
Bravery Effect.
yeah, other than your books or my book. You know, I love science. So I really, really love the Huberman podcast. It's one of my favorites. Now, he'll go on for hours with all the science, but that's just the way my mind works. Like I want the inspiration, but I want the science. So for me, like I'm just in heaven when I can hear all the intricacies of all the scientific evidence. So if you're a nerd, you'll like it. If you're not a nerd, it's probably too much. I also love Mel Robbins. Mel Robbins and in the Huberman podcast.
Okay, and a must do everyday self-care tip.
Hmm. Um, for me, in the mornings, I have my little routine and um, I get up and I move my body for 14 minutes.
Hmm.
I drink my water and I try to get sunlight in my eye for all those scientific reasons. And when I'm drinking my water and getting sunlight in my eye, I think sometimes I journal. I'm not doing it as often, but at a minimum, I think about or I write down what are the 3 good things that happened in the last 24 hours and what are my intentions for the day.
Mm.
And it doesn't take that long. Like that whole thing takes about 20 to 25 minutes to like move for 14 minutes and do that. And it just sets my day off. I've got such great energy and great intention going to the day. So that's my must.
I agree with all of that. I do a gratitude walk, so it's like outside sunlight and gratitude and
Oh,
intentions, all like, multitasking, doing it all at once.
yeah, that's why I love them. Like I used to always do it in the journal every day, and
Yeah.
I do like doing that, but part of it is like I wanted to get outside. So as long as I'm making notes mentally or in the journal, yeah, I like the multitasking too. Hmm.
Love it. Okay, and this one I have had so much fun with. I feel like it really tells a lot about you, Jill. Is your most used emoji.
Ooh, it is, you know what? It's the muscle emoji.
Ah, yes,
It
perfect.
is. It's always like be strong. Like anytime I'm like, you can do it. Always muscle emoji. It's my most used.
That is so perfect. Right
Yeah.
now, mine is the heart hands, just because I've been just so full of like all receiving all the love to everyone and just being like, oh my gosh, thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Sweet. But
Yeah.
that's amazing. And okay, last but not least, what does she means business mean to you?
Ooh, I love that one. It's an empowerment message. She means business. Like, watch out, world. This woman has an intention to make an impact in the world. She means business. So watch out, world. Listen to this woman. Take her
You mean
seriously.
business. I know you mean business. Well, thank you so much. I so appreciate you sharing all of your amazing tidbits on bravery. And I know without a doubt you helped someone or many activate their confidence, amplify their voice, and align to their power. And for more about Jill, also pick up the September issue of She Means Business magazine, where she is. I'm so honored to have her featured there.
Well,
So
thank you so much. Oh, this
thank
is
you.
so fun.
Yeah, so thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time.